It is the final day of action. The final day of action in the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. And we are live from Whitta Village in Montego Bay. It's the final day and we're covering 50 miles on this stage 3. And we begin the action in about 5 minutes time with the elite and masters. Of course, a little bit earlier today, we saw the women and under 18 and super masters taking part in a short course. But this stage 3, 80 kilometers, and it's pretty warm at the moment, 26 degrees Celsius, and the wind is going at 13 kilometers per hour. Let's take a look at the leaderboard as it stands entering day 3. Hassani Hennis on top on 50 points. Akil Campbell in second position on 33 points. And Brighton John in third on 24 points. And Edwin Sutherland, who did really well yesterday in picking up a number of the King of the Mountain flags. He's in fourth position on 15 points. And Chad Conley in fifth on 13 points. The defending champion, Andy Scarano, it's pretty obvious that he won't be able to defend his title. He is in fifth position on 12 points. And Andrew Ramsey, John Butler complete the top 8. So AVR Racing, that's the team leaderboard. They are on 65 points now. 706P out of the United States in second spot on 26 points. And Guyana NHT is in third position on 24 points. Wherever you're watching all over the world, thank you so much for joining us on your Home of Champions. My name is Donald Oliver. I'm with Kynan Cook. And talk to me about what you've seen so far over the weekend and what you're expecting this third day.
We've seen a really good race for the last 2 days, Donald. And today we're expecting to see riders we haven't seen yet come to the front today. I think it should be fairly routine for the top 5 riders who've to finish in the standings, well up in the standings today, and probably for one of the top 2 to win this overall. But there are a lot of riders in this race with legs, particularly some of the Jamaican riders who we haven't seen come forward yet, either because of team results or just the way it panned out. We'd like to see some of those today, and we're looking for an exciting race.
So they're going to start off from Whitta Village, and the interesting thing about it is that they're going to be going to Duncan's, and they'll be looping Duncan's twice before returning to Whitta Village, and that will be about 50 miles in total.
Yes, it's going to be the 2 loops of Duncan's are going to make the race really interesting. There are hilly little bumpy circles around Duncan's, and I think that's going to cause quite a bit of damage for those whose legs are a little weak and wobbly after 3 days of racing.
Yeah, I suppose the strongest will survive. But last year, the Americans came, they dominated. They did face stronger opposition this year. Hassani Hennis, of course, out of Anguilla, really surprised a lot of people. And based on what we saw after stage 1, it really wasn't a surprise that he won stage 2 and is now the clear favorite to win everything.
Yeah, he definitely looks like the strongest rider in the race. On stage 1, he technically should not have won that stage. He was leading out his teammate, Akil Campbell, and nobody could come around him. We saw that happen again yesterday. He led out the sprint and won it. So I believe he's, by a little measure, the strongest rider we have on the course. And I would, barring disaster or incident today, I can't see him giving up the lead.
And speaking of the course, what are you expecting from this course? Obviously, I don't think it's as difficult as what we saw yesterday when they went to Discovery Bay and back. But what are you anticipating here?
This course is very similar to the course we had on the first day. Except we'll have 2 loops of Duncan's and then a return leg. I think we're going to have all of the action happening on those 2 loops of Duncan's, and whoever is away coming out of Duncan's, whichever small group it is or single rider, has a good chance of holding it back to Whitta Village.
And you anticipate the usual suspects to be there around in the leading group, because we saw a couple of strategies that turned out to be race-winning strategies, let's say, on the first 2 stages.
I expect I expect the usual suspects to be there.
And these are they.
The 5 or 6 riders we've seen at the front for the last 2 days. I'm also hoping to see some riders who on the AVR team who've not had the freedom to ride yet because of team orders of defending or consolidating the lead of their 2 import riders, Akil and Hassani Hennis. So hopefully we see some riders we haven't seen come to the front, get some freedom to express themselves today.
Brighton John in the number 71 there from Guyana has been there or thereabouts, but he hasn't been able to really dictate terms. And I suppose the way how he started, he would have had a lot of catching up to do, but he's also a really strong rider.
He impressed me yesterday because the video we just saw, on a couple of occasions, 3 or 4 occasions, we saw him trailing off the back, struggling to hold on, and he was there in the sprint. It was a ding-dong battle between him and Edwin Sutherland for second place, and he podiumed yesterday in third place, and we could clearly see he was suffering on the way back.
Yes, Sutherland was actually most impressive in my book, outside of the winner, of course.
Certainly, taking all 4 King of the Mountains prizes, he had a really awesome day and finishing second to boot. After being caught by the peloton and then making a second break, very impressive performance. Also worthy of mention, Donald, is John Butler, who got dropped by Sutherland and somehow found his way into the second break again. Found some recovery and had the minerals to get himself across into the second break and finish in the top 6. So we've seen some good spirited riding, and we hope to see the final day being as entertaining as the first 2.
Yeah, Sutherland there in third spot, as we mentioned before, had won all of the King of the Mountain prizes, seemed to just adapt to those conditions and attacked it when necessary, and got the better of I think it was Chad Conley on a few occasions when they're on the way to Discovery Bay. So again, he may feature, but he's some way behind, has a lot of catching up to do in order to win the overall prize. In fact, he won't be able to win the overall prize based on the points he has accumulated so far, but really has been outstanding. But the Americans, they really had to work hard to even get into the top 5, and we see that they were very deliberate yesterday in staying together and trying to attack the line when it actually was time for them to do so. They tried to stretch the group here. We see Conley doing this yesterday as we take a look back on the recap, but they weren't able to maintain that advantage, and the group caught up with them on quite a few occasions close to the line.
They did, the 706 team did very well. I think they executed their game plan as best as they could yesterday in breaking away from the field,
but
and trying to finish alone. But they couldn't finish alone, unfortunately for them. 4 other riders came with them with some stronger legs in the finish. I think all of them have had the same condition coming to the line, but the biggest sprinters in the field seem to be on the AVR team, particularly Hassani Hennis. If it comes to a sprint, I don't see anybody going around him. He can lead it from the front, and he can probably lead it from the back. We've seen him take the 2 sprints, just riding off the front. So I don't see that changing today.
And you don't expect a change in strategy from the Americans or even AVR Racing?
I don't see a change in strategy from AVR Racing. They've done everything right so far. I think that for the American team, the 706 team, to win a stage, they're going to have to finish alone. I don't see them bringing any of these riders to the line and beating them in a sprint. I would like to make an apology and a correction for something I said yesterday, Donald, and some of our YouTube users corrected me on it. I had Andrew Ramsey being in that final group of 6 coming to the line yesterday. I had read my numbers wrong. I'd read 86 for 89, and he in fact wasn't there. And a lot of the YouTube watchers pointed this out. We weren't watching that feed, so I apologize and stand corrected for that error.
Well, it usually happens, when you get a 649. Totally, totally understand that, definitely. But yeah, I'm sure coverage will be expanded over the next few years so we can get more detailed information on what we're actually seeing on the screen. But yeah, they're the riders at the start, getting the instruction before they actually jet off, so to speak. And this is the third and final stage, and we're really looking forward to its conclusion here in Montego Bay.
I also learned overnight, Donald, we didn't see it on the feed yesterday, that Kajor Klue, the junior who finished in second place on the last day last year, was in a spill yesterday and was in hospital for a while with a dislocated elbow. So he won't be starting today, and we wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, that is unfortunate news for young Kajor Klue, one of the Allen's up-and-coming young riders. And yeah, as you mentioned, he did make a name for himself last year when he was in that group on the final day with the defending champion Andy Scarano, and we learned a lot about his character then, and I suppose in the next few weeks we'll be learning a lot about his character as he recovers from this injury.
Yeah, we often how you recover and bounce back is often a test of a rider as much as your results on the bike, so we wish him luck and we wish him strength in bouncing back, and we hope to see him back on the bike soon.
Well, they are on their bikes now and they are waiting for the start of it. Not sure what the delay is. The initial start time was to have been at 5 minutes past the hour, and we're about 8 minutes past that rescheduled start time. So we're still not getting word as to what exactly is taking place out at the starting line, but when we do, we'll definitely share it with you. But it seems as if they are pretty much on the verge to get on the way. Remember that there was an under 18 and women's race that took place about half an hour earlier, and I'm not sure if all the riders have come in, if that is the cause for the delay, but maybe that is. But yeah, the under 18s and the women's and the Supermasters took part in a race from Whitter Village to the Hilton and back, and that would have been a run time of about 30 minutes or so. It shouldn't have been too long, but I'm not sure if all the riders have come in as yet.
It could be that they're clearing the results for that race, or it could be a situation with traffic that the police are looking to resolve before we get started, but we hope to be rolling in the next couple of minutes.
Well, the cyclists were actually called to their mark, so that is some indication that we are expected to start stage 3 in short order. Remember, it's a long course, about 50 miles, and action gonna get on the way with AVR Racing, the team, leading all the cyclists out to the main road.
Well, here we go, and here's to an exciting finale to this 3-day tour, as they're going to make a U-turn here and head on down the road.
So they are tackling 50 miles, Whitter Village, and a couple loops around the sleepy town of Duncan, and back to Whitter Village. And yep, about 50 miles in length, and it's really going to be a battle of wills after a while, I can tell you that. And the action will pick up shortly as they are now on the main, heading towards Duncan's.
And today is a pretty short stage relative to the first two, Donald, so we're looking to hopefully see action from the gun as we did yesterday.
Which was a little surprising, if we were to be honest, that we saw it so competitive at the beginning.
I was expecting to see the action kick off a little further down the road yesterday, but it kicked off from the first kilometer, so hopefully we'll see that again today and have equally as entertaining an event today as yesterday. And it looks like we won't be disappointed, because here we go. The attacks have started.
And we saw several of these attacks throughout the second stage.
These riders are determined today to warm up at racing speed.
And it always amazes me that sometimes these attacks take the rest of the group by surprise, really, as if no one kind of anticipates it.
Often in these races, Donald, the first few kilometers, riders are warming their legs up, getting a little sweat going before the action starts. Not so today. We have action from the bell. And we have a Cornwall rider out in front in the Jamaican-styled colours. We haven't seen them on the front since day one. We have seen them on the back in a spill or two, so hopefully we see some action from them today.
Cornwall, of course, Cornwall Cycling Club, obviously based in Montego Bay out west, and they really should know the course best, because this is their territory, this is their home.
This is their home. We had Kajorsh drop out from that team overnight, and we also had Russell Small with reporting a knee problem from an old injury plaguing him after the race yesterday. He was on anti-inflammatories trying to bring that down, so we hope he's in the field today. If not, we hope to see some of his other teammates making the moves today. Particularly O'Dane Maduri, who's riding very well at the moment. We'd like to see him today, otherwise known as Astro.
Yesterday we saw Hassani Hennis wearing the yellow jersey. Still trying to spot him in the crowd there. He's
all the way at the back, I believe. I spot him at the back there in the yellow with the red shoulders.
Yeah, he's biding his time.
I don't think he's worried about anything going away too early, because he has 3 teammates on the front, and if something does go away, they'll be in it.
So, as the race continues, trying to spot who is this out front, and
this appears to be number 81. I believe that might be James Bridges.
James Bridges, yeah. Well, we haven't seen him.
No, we haven't.
All competition, really.
Haven't seen very much of him at all.
So he's looking pretty fresh, actually.
Let's see if he'll have the same day we saw Sutherland have yesterday. If he'll be joined by anybody, and if he can make a move stick. But they're clearly out here to break up the pace and to tire the AVG team, to tire everyone else's legs out early if they can, and dominate the race from the front.
So Bridges out in front. It's I find it a little interesting that each day we see new riders from the AVR Racing, just making that impact that's necessary for the team.
They've got the biggest team in the race, and they probably have the deepest team in the race. I think they have 7 riders, a full complement of 7, and they definitely have the deepest team in terms of average quality.
So Bridges out alone, out in front for the time being. He takes a couple glances back to see where the rest of the team is. I know he's been caught up, but that's a significant gap after just 7 minutes there.
He's been joined by a teammate, and looks like a rider from the 706 team. This may be one of the McFarlane boys.
Scarano is the one in second spot, it seems, the defending champion.
This is Snakeman and 2 AVG riders.
Oh yeah. How did I mix him up with Scarano? Goodness me. For obvious reasons.
Tyrone Edwards, it took a while for his name to come to me, otherwise known as Snakeman, is out there with
Bridges.
Bridges, and I believe this time this is Andrew Ramsey.
There you go. It only took us 2 days. Good to see him actually leading the pack, though.
Nice to see him on the front. That's a nice little gap that we see so far. It's obviously not enough to count any chickens yet, but these are 3 quality riders, and if they put in the work and they're not chased from behind, which they may not be, because it's up to the other teams to chase them. The AVG team is not going to chase them, nor is the 706 team going to chase them. So it's really up to the Cornwall team and the Cayman teams to put in a chase to bring them back.
So 2 Jamaicans and an Antiguan there in the top 3 as they head towards Duncan's. But still a mighty long way to go. Remember, they're covering 50 miles. And I like when you guess as to what time do you think the top riders will clock on the stages.
I think today, if we put an average speed of 25 miles an hour, that would be 2 hours. 2 hours at 25 miles an hour gives us the 50 miles. So I'd say there or thereabouts, give or take 5 minutes either side of that.
All right.
Possibly a few minutes less.
We could hold you to it, you know.
I'll buy lunch.
Oh, well, all right. I'm not sure how expensive that will be. It's a Sunday and most of the lunch shops are closed, but sure, I'll take that up.
I'll owe you one.
Beautiful scenes, though. Absolutely wonderful, the scenes here on the north coast.
We're seeing a little green coming back into the landscape. This would, if this race was 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, this would have all been brown and
yes,
burned.
that's true. That's true. And Google Maps would have been a little bit different instead of all that greenery.
For sure.
I still consider ourselves to be in a bit of a drought, though.
Yes, you can still see on the right-hand side those mountains there, how they haven't greened up yet. They're still a bit brown and burnt. It's been a prolonged drought here, and we're glad for the little water, but we need some more.
So we're going to be going to a quick commercial break. We can tell you that the 3 remain the same, still out in front. 2 Jamaicans and an Antiguan. The Antiguan in James Bridges out in front at the moment, and well, there's now a 4th rider joining them now, and that's John Butler. He's always been there and thereabouts from 706P. So 1 American, 2 Jamaicans and Antiguan It may be the start of a joke, but what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll get more action here from the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. It is stage 3 of this prestigious event, and we're on our way to Duncan's from Witter Village, Montego Bay. They're going to be making a couple loops at Duncan's before going back to Witter Village in Montego Bay. And out on top, well, still James Bridges, and right behind him Andrew Ramsey and John Butler making a move to join up with them. And it's been brilliant so far. These two really taking it to the rest of the group who haven't been able to respond, well, not yet anyway, but they are braving the conditions and they are going pretty quickly here.
Yeah, we're getting the feeling that John Butler doesn't like crowds, Donald. He's the amount of time he spends out there alone on the front or with a couple other friends. He definitely doesn't like being in the big pack.
Yeah, it seems that way. And but this is a smaller pack for him to adjust to, and he's trying to make that move out on the outside. But it's been wonderful so far, and these four riders really pressing at the moment. Two Jamaicans, an Antiguan and an American.
And as I mentioned before, Donald, the chase of these two, if they Cornwall team and one of the other Cayman teams don't get involved here to bring these riders back, their own teammates aren't going to change them, and they'll probably stay out there all day. So we need to see some racing from the other teams other than AVR and 706 to bring this back together and to keep this race exciting.
So Hassani Hennis, of course, is the overall leader after 2 stages. He won both stages, and at the end of day 2 we spoke with him again, and here's what he had to say to our producer Lennox Alfred.
All right, Hassani, day 2 and you are the champion again. You're getting real used to this, man.
Yeah, today was really tight, hard for me, but we executed the plan very well. Just what we planned happened.
Right, and just take us through the race, though. I mean, it was a lengthy stretch. How did you execute?
Well, today, being the first time together, had a little difficulty getting everybody organized, which is, as you can see early in the race, I hit the front and get everybody organized. And we sent out Edwin with the other guy, and we know Edwin could sprint, and he gonna capture all the prems, which he did. And coming down to the end, we close back the gap, bring it back in to get ready for the sprint. And yeah, we captured first and second and 4th place, so executed the day very well.
Was this distance comfortable for you?
Yeah, very well. Me being walking a little earlier, kind of at the end, kind of hurt a little bit, but as you can see, I finished very strong still. So I'm very proud of myself right now.
So you must be looking to close out this championship. Hey, brother. Come on.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you must be looking to close out this championship now.
Well, actually, already closed. Second day, 1 more day to go. So tomorrow we just try control as much as possible. Don't let nothing go and just come in, finish the race strong again.
How do you feel sealing the title?
Yeah, for sure. Feel really nice to be GC, first time GC contender, and yeah, very proud, very proud of myself. All the hard work paid off. Yeah, man, for sure. Bless.
So yeah, we just heard from Hassani Hennis, and yeah, he's high on confidence heading into stage 3, and yep, there's a bit of a change, not quite a group out in front. Trying to identify who this is. I think it may be Edwin Sutherland, you know, with the lead.
We will see. So it looks like the pack have brought back those 4 riders that were out, and we have one big peloton again.
Yeah. Trying to confirm if it's actually Akil Campbell or 86 Edwin Sutherland, but we will confirm it in just a little while. But again, trying to make a move here, another push. Yeah, but one big group right behind. It looks pretty ominous when you see it from this angle. If they are hunting him as a massive pack, and he's the one that's trying to get away with the nervous looks from time to time.
Yeah, that number appears to be number 86.
Yeah, it is 86. In fact, it's Edwin Sutherland, and it's Edwin Sutherland who has been pushing all the time, even on stage 2, winning the King of the Mountains as well.
Seems like he doesn't like crowds either, Donald.
He definitely doesn't.
We expect him to be joined by John Butler any moment now.
Indeed. 2 Lone Rangers just taking a ride. Sutherland, of course, he is out of Barbados and a part of the AVR racing. And for a team that was just put together, they've done pretty well.
They've done a really good job.
They may want to collect each other's numbers and go on the circuit sometime.
I'm sure they've had a lot of fun here.
Yeah,
and would look forward to racing with each other again.
Yeah, but that is Edwin Sutherland, and he is out in front, and the pack is behind him. You know, is there odds on bet that's Butler joining him?
That's where my money would be. That's either Butler or Brandon.
Yeah, but it's definitely Sutherland now being caught up, and being caught up by the rest of the pack as well.
That looks more to be the style of Brandon.
Brendan Cornett?
Than Butler. And every time we see a group of riders go right off the front like this, Donald, they're very dangerous riders. And riders that need to be monitored, or they'll ride away from the field, as we've seen them do before. So the group around the back needs to pay attention every time one of these riders or two of these riders go up the field, because they're always strong riders, and we've seen that.
It's a good look so far.
And this appears to be that we're on the backside of the Iberostar hill here.
Yeah.
The Iberostar drag, we should say. That's the Iberostar in the distance behind us, or behind the riders. And we have, that appears to be Christian or Bradley McFarlane. That appears to be Bradley McFarlane, the junior at the back of the pack here, doing a very good job getting himself across there. And that appears to be one of the masters, number 117. .117 would be Buju, that is Barrington Bailey, a very wily rider. And he'll surely not be trading too much pedal strokes with these guys. He'd be more looking for a free ride and letting them fight each other.
You were right about Cornett, by the way. So Cornett is the one that's drifted into third spot at the moment. Sutherland back into the lead.
And we have 3 riders from AVR, and we have 3 riders from
706P.
706, and it looks like we have Brighton John, and it looks like they want to be joined by Snake Man, Tyrone as well. So,
and there's Butler.
There's
to the left.
That looks to be Chad Conley.
Or Conley, rather, sorry. Yep, that is Chad
being
Conley.
Joined by the race leader. So it looks like they're going to bring this back. They don't want to see these riders go off the road. Looks like we're going to have one regrouping again.
Well, the leaders are still trying to push. They're jostling for positions here. And pretty much the leading pack in a straight line, with Sutherland being the bravest of them all. Again.
Fantastic riding by him.
Oh, his team is making a move on the outside as well.
They just want to stay close to the front or thereabouts in case a move goes again, which we know it will, because this race has been full of moves, that they're in position to close it easier from the front than to be coming from the back to try and chase. Easier to manage a race from the front than from the back, so, and that's what they're doing, just keeping this race under management.
So it appears as if they are in Long Bay right now. The riders. And they're back as a massive group again.
We see the police and the mobile race crew. We need to commend that crew, because they do a fantastic job keeping the race safe and as organized as possible, because as mentioned before, and as you can see, we don't race on closed roads in Jamaica, we race on open roads. That means the support crew and the police have a really big job to do, and they need to get it right, and they've done a fantastic job so far. Thank you. Thanks, much appreciation to that.
Yep, there to keep them safe, to protect them. We did have a couple of minor incidents yesterday, also involving our SportsMax crew, but thankfully everyone is relatively okay. But these things usually happen in covering the road race in cycling.
Yes, we're glad everybody is okay, and we're glad there are no major injuries so far, other than that of Kajor's shoe, and we hope that elbow heals and leaves no complications with him. Looks like we're just passing Chill Out Hut here, so I think Long Bay is correct, Long Bay or Lilliput.
Yep.
There's some tired legs in this race as well today, and we'll see that. But there's also a lot of strong legs still in this race, particularly on the AVR and the 7016.
And they are approaching Greenwood at the moment, the cyclists. And again, they're all bunched together. And I suspect that Hassani Hennis will be the one that's most pleased here.
He doesn't have any real work to do today, Donald.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is finish in the top 5 or the top 10, which we're pretty confident he'll do to retain the yellow jersey and win this race overall.
Has to keep his eye on his teammate, though, Akil Campbell of Trinidad and Tobago, who has the best chance, being that he's in second position overall. He has the best chance to overtake him in the point standings.
Certainly, but if the two of them come to the line, I'm sure we'll have a race there, an honest race for the overall race lead. But generally, the team is going to work for their leader, who is Hassani Hennis at the moment. There we see the orange and yellow jerseys of the Fire Wheels team. That's an all Masters age group team.
Good to see them keeping up as well.
And that appears to be Kirk Finnegan on the rear, leading the Masters overall category at the moment, with 2 stage wins so far.
So he's also pretty chilled based on the position that he's in.
He's not going to mix it up at the front with these guys. They think they're stronger and younger and a little more aggressive than him. He's going to take as easy a ride as he can on the back, and trying to be sheltered from the wind as much as he can. We see the Cornwall team amassing on the left of the screen there. Good to see them grouping and looking like they want to be a part of today's racing. We haven't seen very much of them before this. Seems to be a temporary truce in the peloton now, as we're just rolling on at a steady speed. It won't be long before we probably see some moves going again. We have that drag into Duncan's and then that circle around Duncan's. If we don't see any aggression before then, we're sure to see it when the race enters Duncan's.
Nathaniel Forbes is the one leading the pack at the moment, and right behind him is Brendan Cornet. And we're going to take another break here from the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. When we return, much more action on stage 3. Welcome back to the Jamaica International Cycling Classic here as we take a look at stage 3 of the route from Montego Bay to Duncan's and then back to Witter Village in Montego Bay, and the cyclists are approaching Falmouth at a fair clip, and well, we're just about 33 minutes in the race, and again we realize that the group is back together again. As just to remind you that the journey is about 50 miles, and they have just passed one King of the Mountain stretch, but
seems like we have a small group here going away. 2 Cornwall riders, 2 AVR riders. It looks like the 706 team are looking to have none of it and bring it back together.
yeah.
These constant attacks, Donald, are really rough on the legs.
And as usual, the journey back is going to be quicker.
It'll be a lot faster and a lot smoother. Within the headwind, these teams know that if they're gonna create a gap or create damage, now is the time to do it. It'll be a lot harder to do it in the tailwind. Small group getting, fairly sizable group getting a bit of daylight between the pack. This appears to be Brighton John
making a
running
move,
across.
Right? Yep. Brighton John is from Guyana, although he's wearing a colored jersey that would probably lead anyone to think that he's from the Bahamas, but he's actually from Guyana. There he is,
and he's been putting in a phenomenal ride, phenomenal shift. That's actually not Brighton John.
No,
Brighton is number 71 if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
it's good to see some of his other teammates getting into the mix.
we saw number 72 there.
72 would be Horace Burrows, and I believe I've seen his name as a Masters rider. It's getting real hot here, Donald. There we see Amit Raj of Team 8. First time we're seeing him involved in the action. That's Chad Connolly warming it up on the front here.
Oh, he's pushing.
This group looks big enough and committed enough to make this break stick against the main field. All the major contenders seem to be in this group. 4 or 5 AVR riders, a couple 706 riders, and one of the Unity riders out of Cayman, Burrows. We have Amit Roch in there from Teammates. So this break has a representation of just about all the teams in the race. So it's highly likely that this will stay away and not be chased by the main field. And if chased, it's highly unlikely they'll catch this group because they seem well organized and they've got a lot of horsepower in this bunch.
So still a decent sized bunch making up the leading pack here as they continue this third stage of the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. I'm going to take another quick break here, and when we return we'll have much more action. And these cyclists are now very much close to Duncan's, and they have been all caught up here. And that's Hassani Ennis at the top of this pack as they head to go into the community of Duncan's. But that's a nice long stretch there. And this is where they begin their descent. So what we saw earlier appeared to be the second bunch of riders, while this is actually the lead pack.
Yes, correct, Donald. The second bunch of riders is some way back, and Hassani Hennis is not in this lead group.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he has enough teammates there to marshal things and make sure that his overall position is not threatened.
Yeah, it's an interesting race that we're witnessing here, and it's about 41 minutes in to this stage 3. They said that it may take about a couple of hours to complete the stage. Remember, it's about 50 miles. They're going to take a couple of loops at Duncan's, and
I'm going to gamble on saying we're going to be just under 2 hours at the finish, Donald. I owe you lunch if it passes 2 hours.
all right.
Because these guys look like they're riding at a good clip today.
I'm actually conflicted as to whether I want this one to end a little bit earlier or should I get a free lunch, but fine, I'll think about it.
We just want a good show in the end.
We do want a good show in the end.
And you can see the main group way off at the end of your screen there. We just got a view of them, so the gap appears to be about 30 or 40 seconds. It's not tremendous gap at the moment, but I do believe this front group has the minerals to stay away from that chasing group. And the chasing group has little reason to chase them down because it's every team is represented in this front group.
Yeah, and they will be riding on the instructions here as they head further and further into Duncan's.
Good to see some teams we haven't seen before at the front too, Donald. That's Amit Raj of the Teammate team. An Israeli moved to Jamaica and adopted Jamaica as his new home. Good to see him in the mix of things. He's got very good legs as well. I've seen him last week come 5th in the Palisados Airport Classic.
That's another wonderful stretch of road in Jamaica, right before you reach the Norman Manley International Airport.
Here we have Conley making sure that nothing goes too far, and they bring Roach back under control.
Just getting refreshed at the front.
We can just see the splinters of a little breakaway from the
Second group
trying to come across here, and we can see the main group probably about 45 seconds behind this.
And they are approaching glistening waters, and of course not too far from there is the actual bay, Falmouth, where the cruise ships line up, where they deliver tourists from all over the world to go into communities such as this one to buy art and craft and to just experience the culture and the food especially.
They should be approaching turnaround any moment now. They should be taking a left off the highway and looping under it and then going up into the town of Duncan's.
So they're going to be going to Duncan's shortly, and Duncan's pretty much is a sleepy little town in Trelawney, and we're going to get more information on Duncan's and where this group of cyclists will be heading into in short order. For now, we take a break, and when we return, more action. Welcome back to the Jamaica International Cycling Classic 2023. We're at stage 3 of this event, and the cyclists are very much still on the road as they prep their way close towards Spring Hill, and then they'll go into Duncan's and make a couple loops there. But still, not a lot has changed, although the second group has caught up with the first group. Kynan.
It appears to still be the group that broke away from the main field still together.
Yep. But there's a bit of an extension now, just a bit.
I mean, you mean a couple of riders may
Yes.
have bridged across? Quite possibly. And based on what we just saw a couple of seconds ago, there are no friends in this group, and once we start the Spring Hill climb, I think it's going to start dissolving.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch right now as the riders pedal away. But it's been an interesting race so far. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing the group as big as it was a few minutes ago, where they had done well to catch up with the main runaway group.
I think when we see Spring Hill and the bumpy rising, the ups and downs of Duncan's, I think we're going to see who has the legs in this group putting their legs on the line, and see this breaking apart quite a bit. I don't see this whole group coming out of Duncan's to head back to Montego Bay intact. I think we're going to see this shell out quite a bit.
Yeah. So again, we see the leading pack and the likes of Conley and Cornette in the main group here for 706P.
In this group, we also have Jerome Forrest, who we haven't seen much of. He won a stage last year and was in contention for the overall before being relegated on one stage because of using a radio. Very good to see him enter the mix today, and we are on the Spring Hill climb now, and we can already see the group starting to break up.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a little bit tedious, I can tell you that. And
not tedious for us, Donald.
Well, it's tedious for me, even me watching. Let me just say that. There's a spill.
There's one rider gone down. I would imagine that's one of the Cornwall riders. I'm hoping it's not Odain Maduri, because he has really good legs, and we'd hate to see him out of the race because of this. He'll get a push from the support bike to get him back up to speed.
The Cornwall riders are usually pretty unfortunate. They have been pretty unfortunate
They have been on the turf. They have tasted the turf a few times in this event, and hopefully we see him get on. We see his chain jump as he's trying to catch back on. He does have enough room to get back on, but he's going to really have to hustle, and it's going to really burn his legs to get back on this.
Yeah, they really are pumping, and you'll see the stronger riders here.
And these are two AVR riders. It's looking like we have possibly Jerome Forrest on second wheel there. We'll have to wait to confirm that when we see his number.
But yeah, after this climb, they'll have a bit of a descent before heading into Duncan's.
And for a big beefy guy, Chad Conley represents himself pretty well on these climbs.
Well, isn't that the point though? That the bigger you are, the more powerful you should be.
This is true, but the lighter you are, the easier you go uphill, because you have to carry that weight over the hills. So usually you have the lighter guys. Somebody that big has to work a lot harder to get over the hills.
I'm sure everything can be explained by science, I suppose, but I will take your word for it, because I couldn't survive and I'd be trying to push it.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Okay.
At whatever weight you are, it's tough coming over these climbs, especially at racing speed.
Just a tad bit easier now as they begin that descent.
And I think we'll see them taking the exit to go into Duncan's as this levels out.
We are approaching the hour mark here. And remember that they'll be doing a couple of loops at Duncan's. That is still
that's
Edwin Sutherland. Goodness me. He's been there and thereabouts, just braving anything that's in front of him.
Yeah, he's brought his legs this year for sure.
That's a nice little slow for them.
Riders can be picking up upwards of 50 miles an hour going down this. That's 80k going down this stretch here, Donald. Really, really big speeds they can pick up.
And they don't have to be doing a whole lot of work. Not a whole lot.
There's a little chance for some rest because they can't pedal the bicycle as fast as the bicycle can roll going down this hill, so they'll take a little break. And we're trying to see who that is. I believe we have Andrew Ramsey there. Edwin Sutherland, and couldn't make out who that third AVR rider was. We'll get that to you shortly.
Yeah, but they are approaching Duncan's as we try and take another look.
So that's Andrew Ramsey.
Yep.
And Edwin Sutherland.
Yep, Sutherland now at the back. Ramsey in front of him.
And that appears to be Nathaniel Forbes of Cayman.
Yeah, he had the lead for a short while, about 15-20 minutes ago, and he's still with that chasing that leading pack. But they are about to enter Duncan's in short order.
Last year, Donald, we lost footage when they came off of the highway into Duncan's. We hope we can keep pictures for you for the whole circuit around Duncan's this time around.
Oh, it may be a little bit of a stretch. When I went there to visit, it seemed as if I had gone back in time, to be fair. It is a quiet town. It is very much a sleepy town as well.
Really quiet town, with Albert Town, couple kilometers up the road, another sleepy town. A lot of sugar back in the day came from Trelawney, and when sugar toned down a bit, the town became rather sleepy and a quiet little place to be. Very beautiful town, though.
Yeah, indeed. Wonderful shot of the bikers coming down, and they are going to be going into Duncan's in short order. They are going to be making that turn very, very soon, and then they'll have a couple of loops at Duncan's before heading back to Witter Village in Montego Bay. And as I mentioned before, that Duncan's is a bit of a sleepy town. They have their, well, it's a very small market, and it's a bit of a stretch there to say that it's a small market, but they do feed the people at nights, especially though everything is closed, and you usually see this kind of setting off highways a lot, especially if you are able to just bypass these communities. They don't get a whole lot of visitors, and it's good that it's good that everything is not gone to the dogs, to be fair.
Yep, this used to be the main road from St. Anne into Trelawney, and since the highway came, a lot of traffic has moved away from this town, and it's affected them economically, and it's become a lot more quiet.
That it has, but it's a wonderful place to ride as well. You won't experience a lot of traffic here, and they'll find these roads a little bit. It's windy. There are a couple of curves and turns, but it's all downhill here, and it's wonderful for the riders.
And it still appears to be, can't tell whether this is the front four we were looking at.
It is the front
back.
four. The chasing pack is still some way behind, but it is the same front four that's going through Duncan's at a fair clip. It almost feels like home. This is rural Jamaica at its best representation.
These are lovely roads to ride on, Donald. You can ride on these roads for hours and hours. Quiet country roads.
Farming town as well. So you'll see a lot of work going on in that region. Fishing village as well. I don't think you'll see it on this route, but the fishing village is nearby Albert Town as well. One of them pretty nearby at Duncan's, and of course they are pretty close to the cruise ships as well.
And they're about to make their first turn and go back into Duncan's. They're just rejoining the highway now. They'll be going back around for one more turn of it.
Yeah, so it's not a massive tour or loop that they're taking.
Maybe about 3 or 4 kilometers, quite short.
Yeah. Through the actual town, it's not long. It's a highway that takes up most of it.
Correct.
To be fair. What also comes with going to the community is a little respite. That's a chasing pack, by the way, and it's quite a big pack. Just going by I think that's a Fesco gas station. And
that seems to be about a good couple minutes down on the leaders. There's also about 10 or so riders from from which these 4 riders came.
Yeah.
We don't know how far behind they are at the moment, but they're somewhere in between the main pack and this group here.
This group is still pressing. They'll welcome the shade of that Duncan's trail again, but right now they have to endure the harsh heat from the asphalt of the highway. But what a ride so far. What a ride for the cyclists on this third stage, the final stage of the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. And they're getting set to make their way back into Duncan's. As you said, it's about 4 kilometers, so shouldn't be too long for them to make that turn, but again, still on the highway on the north coast. So that's a leading pack. A pack of 4 still.
Stretching our neck to see up the road. We've seen no riders behind them. So,
oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh! Feeding on mountains. Feeding zones are often the most dangerous places to be because you're trying to reach across for a bottle, and we saw just there.
One cyclist is definitely out. We saw the bicycle completely ripped.
They came down pretty hard there. One cyclist losing his balance, grabbing for a bottle, and the cyclist behind him, unfortunately, being collateral damage. Let's see if we can see that again.
Yeah, we're going to see it again on the replay.
Looks like a handlebar may have gotten caught up in the...
Yes, that's exactly what happened. The bottle spilled and then...
There we see it.
Oh no.
Oh no, that's one... The front rider's bicycle is for sure destroyed. We hope he has a spare bicycle to get back up on, and he can continue. This appears to be debris much further down the road. This is one of the Masters riders from from Fire Wheels.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get a little confusing possibly here, Donald, with riders coming into Duncan's and riders being on the second loop of Duncan's. It may get a little confusing picking out which riders are on which loop. But we hope both riders that went down in that fall a while ago are okay. The lighting wasn't very good, so it looks just certainly like John Conley went down and another AVR rider. We hope they're okay.
We're going to try and get some information. We're going to try and get some information as to actually who fell, because again, you do not want to see that. And from the leading pack too. But what a dramatic spill that was. Yep, they're going back into Duncan's now. And they're gonna take that sojourn through the community once again into the shade. And yeah, we're still trying to get some information as to which cyclists are out of contention. Let's see if we can identify the top two here.
If we can identify these two, we can tell you who possibly went down. We know the pair, I would guess Chad Conley went down. This is number 81 and 85.
Yes, so Ramsey is there, and so too is James Bridges. So Bridges ahead of Ramsey, which means if we are supposed to be utilizing deduction, maybe Forrest would have been involved in the spill.
It looks like Jerome Forrest may have gone down along with Chad Butler. Chad Conley,
yeah,
in that spill. We're waiting to get confirmation of that from our sources on the course, but that information is not through to us yet. But
and
this
really
appears to be
that's so unfortunate.
James Bridges and Andrew Ramsey out front here.
Well, we didn't expect these two names at this leg of the stage to be leading.
Well, we did not expect it either. We know Andrew Ramsey is a very strong rider, and we've been waiting to see him on the front, coming and putting a mark on this race. We also been expecting to see Jerome Forrest show himself as well, and unfortunately we believe he may have been involved in that tangle, and hopefully he's okay, but he may be a bit too damaged and a bit too far behind to catch back to this main group. But we wait word on that, and we'll update you as soon as we have something.
Yeah, a little bit more traffic now as they go through the community of Duncan's.
I'm getting confirmation that was Sutherland that went down.
Oh, wow.
Forrest was not in that group of four, so it appears to be Sutherland and
a lot of riders were impeded. We just need to confirm who went down and who would be out of competition. But we knew that Forrest was in the group. He would have been impeded, but probably not knocked down.
Possibly. So we'll wait confirmation, and I'm told that Forrest wasn't there. I'm not sure if that means Forrest wasn't in the group or wasn't in the crash.
Right.
We'll need clarification on that, but I think we can say safely with some confidence that in the crash were Chad Conley and
Edwin Sutherland. And it's heartbreak for Barbados, with Sutherland being knocked out of the competition after doing extremely well yesterday. One of the bravest rides that we have seen in the short history of the Jamaica International Cycling Classic.
Certainly, and I'm getting confirmation now that Forrest was not in that group of four. He had been distanced a little earlier on the climb, so it's Sutherland and Chad Conley that went down in that crash.
Chad Conley, of course, of 706P Atlanta, and 706P Atlanta, of course, was the home of the defending champion and Conley, of course, one of their riders, former winner of 2 stages at the USA Crit Series, and he was also a winner of the 2 WBL stages in 2023. And he's a criterium and track specialist. Is Chad Conley, resides in Georgia with his wife Kathleen, and if Kathleen is watching and the rest of the family, would just want to just reassure that I'm sure that he's fine, I'm sure they're okay, but it was just a nasty looking spill, and there's little to worry about. I think
it was a nasty looking spill, and there's some back damage and probably a fair amount of bruising, but we will get word to you in the next break exactly the condition of these 2 riders.
But the race continues through Duncan's. And such is the sport of cycling. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break now as they begin their trek out of Duncan's. When we return, we'll have more action, and hopefully if it's dramatic action, it has nothing to do with the spills but more the thrills as they head back to Witter Village in Montego Bay. Stay with us. So, we said before that this is a sleepy town of Duncans, and it's a small community just off the highway in the parish of Trelawney. And yeah, it's usually a slow go, especially on a Sunday. And there are food shops in the vicinity. And yeah, just a quiet community, just making their way about life and trying to recover even in the post-COVID area. We said it's sleepy, but it was really dramatic a few minutes ago as the riders were on the highway. We saw this spill that took out a couple of riders, Kynan.
Yes, it looks like we see Sutherland there having a little problem collecting his race bag, his food bag, and Chad Conley getting knotted up with him as a result. We've subsequently been told that both riders are okay. We're trying to find out whether they have rejoined the race and are chasing. We know it looked like Sutherland's bicycle got severely damaged, so we're trying to find out whether he's gotten a replacement bike and they're back in the field, or whether they've had to abandon. But we're told both riders are safe.
Yep, so this is the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. It's still James Bridges and Andrew Ramsey, the top two here out of AVR Racing. And wow, what this is a stage that we're going to remember for quite some time.
Yes, we're real sorry it had to come down to losing those two riders to a crash, which adds to the drama, but we'd have preferred to have that drama to have been keeping these four riders together and seeing them battle it out to the end. But we have here Andrew Ramsey and James Bridges. It looks like they have a lot of daylight between themselves and the next riders. We'll try and get you a time gap when we can. But it appears that the winner will come from one of these two.
Again, we just have to remind, especially the family members who are watching our feed, that both the riders, what we are told is that they are okay, and they are contemplating whether they'll actually complete the race. So you don't have to worry about any casualties. In fact, we can confirm that they're back on their bikes and they are en route. So just to assure you again, Edwin Sutherland and Chad Conley, they're back en route on their bikes and they are going to be completing the race. So yeah, the family members of both those riders, you don't have to worry. That's a chasing pack trying to catch up with the front two, and they have some work to do as well. And leading the chasing pack is Nathaniel Forbes. He had the lead for a few moments as they were just about 50 minutes away from Duncan's in the first half of the race. But now the thing that he's leading is the chasing pack as they try to hunt down the top two from AVR Racing.
There are also some other bits of debris on the road that I noticed on one of our other screens, Donald, and I believe I saw Jerome Forrest back in action, and we're also seeing Chad Conley back in action now, riding alone, being followed by two other riders. We're guessing that would be Forrest. So there's about two groups of three riders behind these two leaders. We can't tell you how far behind yet, but there are remnants of that first 12-man group scattered along the route behind these riders. We're not sure how far back or whether they'll be able to reconnect, but we'll bring you updates as soon as we get them.
And this is the quicker leg as they begin their sojourn along flat land, really, as they head back to Witter Village.
And we're seeing on one of our B screens here that Conley and Sutherland are back together and riding this out.
Yep.
We're sure.
There they are.
We're sure.
Well, that's Jerome Forrest, and also there as well.
That's Chad Conley and Jerome Forrest.
Yes, Chad Conley there as well.
And they're on their way back to Montego Bay now. So they may still be in a podium position, depending. We don't know whether these are in front of the other splits from the original breakaway or whether they are behind. But they're in part of that original 12-man breakaway that splintered.
Yeah, and they are flying right now. I think they are the ones directly behind the leaders. Yeah. I think they are the ones directly behind the leaders. But they are cruising at a fair clip down the hill.
Yep, they'll be back in Montego Bay in no time.
But good to see Chad back on the bike.
I imagine that it's quite possible that Sutherland didn't get a bike change and may have had to abandon. We'll bring you word on that soon, but I'm pretty sure that he would have been pretty significantly delayed in getting a bike change if he did get one to remain in contention for a podium finish or for to stay anywhere near the break.
So right, this shot, it's Conley and Forrest working hard to try and catch up with the main group of two as well. And I don't think that they are too far behind.
Jerome Forrest is a very accomplished rider. He's been doing really well over the past 2-3 years here and represents Jamaica on the national team. Probably between him and Andrew Ramsey, two of the riders who have won the most races of the few races we've had this year.
So the leaders are on the left, those chasing on the right, and it's going to be an interesting dynamic as they head to Montego Bay. But still some work to do for those in that second group.
We'd really like to bring you some news on what's happening with the main peloton, which includes
the overall leader, Asani
Hennis, and also Akil Campbell. We'd like to get some information on what's happening in the back there. We don't see their positions at the top steps of the overall the general classification podium being threatened, but we'd love to get some information on where they are.
Yeah, I reckon as long as they are together, it's okay for the both of them, and in particular Asani Hennis, who is in the lead. Well, this is Ramsey behind Bridges. Yeah.
Neither Hennis or Campbell will be winning today, so we don't see the leaderboard for the overall classification changing between those two. And I think we can safely say that it looks like Hennis will win overall at the end of today, and Campbell should retain his second place. And here we have the top two, the leaders, Bridges and Ramsey, and I think they're going to just work this home, and hopefully we'll see Jamaican, not to be a bit, sorry for being a bit biased, hopefully we'll see a Jamaican victory today, home victory.
Well, Jerome Forrest is in the chasing pack along with Chad Conley.
Interesting to see how far behind they are. If they catch up to these front two, then we'll have the AVR team will have 2 riders in that, 3 riders in that, and it will be interesting to see who takes it. Both Ramsey and Forrest are pretty nifty sprinters. Can't tell you very much about Bridges, but I'm sure they would have a strong advantage coming into the finish, because we have seen that Chad Conley is not one of the strongest sprinters in the course, one of the strongest riders for sure, but doesn't pack one of the fastest finishes on the route.
They are about 15-20 seconds behind the chasing pack, behind the leaders. So 2 groups of 2 at the moment.
And if it's 20 seconds, if it's in fact 20 seconds, that's a very closable gap. So maybe we'll have 4 riders come to the finish. We'll see.
Yep. Still some energy to expend here. And that's the leaders. Those are the leaders, Ramsey and Bridges. Ramsey out of Jamaica, Bridges out of Antigua and Barbuda.
We believe that crash happened, Donald, just by a bit of an overreach for the food supply bag, which caused Sutherland to lose his front wheel and just go down pretty hard.
Yeah, that's a safer way to exchange fluids.
Yeah. It's a lot easier when you're in a group of 2 or off to the side of the road alone than when you're in a group of 5. It might have been wise for Sutherland just to let that food bag go and try and get another one when he had a better approach to it. But that happens in racing quite often.
This is the chasing pack. Conley and Forrest still together. Conley
Trying to see up the road if we can see the other 2 riders, that 20-second gap, but we're not picking it up.
No, it would have to be a pretty long stretch, and right now they are just navigating the corners here, although they are going down the slope at a fair clip still.
We're told that the gap on the road is a little less than a minute from Forest to the leading 2, and we're told that the gap is coming down and that they may well close. So we'll keep you posted on that, but we're told that there is about a gap of less than a minute and that it is coming down. And if we look up there, are we seeing the other?
No, we won't see it from this angle at all, because it's still the top 2 of Bridges and Ramsey that we're seeing here. But what we're going to do, we're going to take another quick break here from our coverage of the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. When we return, more action as they head back to Witter Village, Montego Bay. coverage of the Jamaica International Cycling Classic from Montego Bay. And the riders are heading back to Montego Bay to complete this stage 3. Stage 3, about 50 miles long, filled with thrills, spills, and a lot of drama.
And we can confirm now, Donald, that the chasing 2 of Forrest and Chad Connolly are closing the gap to Bridges and Ramsey very quickly, and it appears that the group will be coming back together. And we'll try and bring you some information from what's happened further back with the splitting of that original 12-man breakaway, and to get you some information on what's happening with our main group, which contains race leader and second place Akil Campbell.
Yep, so as we take a look at the leading pack and the chasing pack, still some way to go. I reckon that there was a gap of about 30 seconds between them.
If we look up further up the road, we'll see the support vehicle behind those 2 riders.
In the chasing pack, right.
Of the chasing pack behind, so we can almost see the 2 riders ahead of us. They're up there in that bunch of cars.
Yep, so the chasing pack with Conley and Forrest, and the leading pack, of course, James Bridges and Andrew Ramsey. So, who would have thought this would have happened? That they will converge, and they will converge in short order, and it will be an interesting bolt to the finish.
Still a gap to close. Let's see if they can do it, but they appear to be closing pretty quickly based on what we were seeing a little earlier. You can see the support vehicle with the 2 riders right up around that corner.
Well, it's been quite a feat from Conley, especially, to have moved away from that accident, and now to gather himself so close to the leading pack. He's leading that chasing pack with Jerome Forrest right there, the Jamaican, behind the American.
Forrest making Conley do the lion's share of the work here in bringing that gap back. Unlike, he probably doesn't want to help Conley get across to his teammates and increase the competition up at the front. But I wouldn't be worried too much about that if I was Forrest, because Chad Connolly has shown that he doesn't have the strongest finish when it comes to the sprint to the line. So I think they'll be safe Forrest should be safe in carrying him back across and getting up there and looking for possibly an AVR 1-2-3.
Well, Connolly would be the one standing out from 706P. He'll be racing against the team, the AVR racing team, who, as you said just now, will be looking for that 1-2-3 finish.
They first have work to do in closing that gap, so let's see.
Look, they're in sight now.
Yep, we can see them up the road, so it looks like we'll have that a 4-man leading group shortly. And out of that 4-man group, we have Forrest and Ramsey, 2 Jamaican riders, who will be leaving Jamaica for Trinidad next week to take part in the Paradise Cycling Classic down there, a 2-day track meet, and we wish them luck.
Yep, and it's getting closer and closer. They're passing William Knibb, and yeah, it's down to mere seconds now between the 2. But yeah, the gap is closing by the second, literally, and we have a little over 23 kilometers to go in this one. But what a race so far. What a really very good race so far. And yeah, well within sight now. In fact, they're actually in the lead.
What we've seen is the group be caught, and 2 riders have gone right through it. Forrest is still on the back, and as is Ramsey. So we've seen James Bridges and Chad Connolly put some distance between themselves and the following two. I'm pretty sure that Ramsey and Forrest will be able to ride themselves back onto this.
But you have mentioned on a couple of occasions that Conley, you don't seem with the sprint work needed for the dash. Is it wise for him to continue that push and try to get a lead?
I think it is, Donald, because his chances are better if he goes up the road with that one rider. He's guaranteed to come second today if it ends that way. If he goes to the line with with four riders, he may end up getting third or fourth. So I think his chance of winning today is much stronger if he goes away alone or goes away with a single rider. He will have a better chance in a 2-up sprint than in a 4-up sprint. And here we're seeing this appears to be remnants of that original 12-man breakaway.
Yes.
Let's see if we see Sutherland back in this.
Well, there's Hennis. I think Hennis is the one who's leading here in the chasing pack, so he's pretty safe. Passing a bushfire, we've seen quite a few of these on the countryside.
Thankfully it's not in the riders' faces where they have to breathe it. It's not the type of smoke that helps with endurance.
Few types of smoke helps with endurance, I can tell you that, Kainan. Well, based on my research, these are the race leaders.
I have no evidence either way.
All conjecture. Yeah, so the tables have been turned here, and
Ramsey and Forrest look determined to get back across this gap. Conley is not going to make it easy, and one thing is for sure is that Himes Bridges is probably not going to help him much, being that he has two teammates trying to chase and get back on. So it's all Conley now, and he doesn't seem to be afraid to give it a go and put everything into this to see what he can make happen. Gap is holding for the time being. Forrest and Ramsey would want to do everything they can to close this quickly, because Conley has shown that he has a big engine and he's capable of riding on the front for a long time. And from the angle we're seeing, Donald, it appears that the gap is growing ever so slightly. Looks like it's coming down the right way now as they approach a small drag.
Conley doing a whole lot of the work though out front.
He's going to get no help from Bridges. Bridges would like to see his teammates come back. And there they are. That wasn't easy, but they're back.
That's the chasing back pack on the right of your screen.
I think that's the remnants of the 12-man breakaway from which these front four riders came. They may have been joined by a couple riders from further back, because it looks like about 12 riders back there as well. We'll try and get a camera back there and see who exactly is in that group.
I think we can safely say that Hennis is actually in that group, the overall leader.
Trying to ascertain that with the lighting because of the sun. We're not seeing the colors so well, and we're trying to get back there and to give you some confirmation of exactly who's in that group.
Do you think we're still going to make it to the 2-hour mark?
It'll be close.
It will be close.
Let's see, it'll be close. Maybe.
I'm just looking forward to the lunch. I'm just reminding you of the bet.
Well reminded.
All right, no problem. Anytime. I hope there's more headwind for them.
It's going to be close. I may owe you a lunch, but we're about 50. We could be between 15 and 20 minutes from the finisher. Here we see Amit Roach. We see Nathaniel, who was in there earlier.
Can we confirm if that's Hennis at the top?
I can't say. I'm not seeing him, but we do need a better image of that group.
I knew that he was wearing one of the brightest color jerseys and distinct due to those features, but we're still trying to confirm whether Hennis is in that second group.
And it would be interesting to know the time gap between these chasers and the main pack. Seems like they just passed through the fire we saw a little while ago. We can see the smoke in the background. But that doesn't really give us an accurate
indication as to how far back they
how
are.
big the gap is. Could crudely throw a guess of a minute at it.
A minute and a half maybe. But there's a leading pack sitting pretty.
Conley still trying to ride off the front. I think maybe the best approach for him now maybe to go to the back, try and recover a bit and hope he doesn't get jumped by any of these other three riders. I just don't see them letting him ride off the front alone. So maybe go to the back of that, take a little rest and maybe try jump them again a little further down the road and hope before he gets to try that he doesn't get jumped himself.
Yep, so just a few kilometers to go on this third stage, and we can confirm that Hassan is not in the current chasing pack. We can confirm that the race leader, Hassani Hennis, is not in the chasing pack that you saw just now. So he's way back, further back. The question is, where is he beside the likes of Akil Campbell? If that is so, that would only mean that he will be confirmed as the overall winner at the end of this third stage. But he's nowhere near the front at the moment, is Hassani Hennis. What we're going to do, we're going to take another commercial break from the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. Our coverage here on the Home of Champions continues right after this. Welcome back to the Jamaica International Cycling Classic 2023. We are on stage 3. It's a final stage as well on this final day of action of this wonderful tournament. And yeah, we do see these shots on a regular basis as they go along the north coast and head back into what is considered to be the tourist capital of Jamaica, Montego Bay. And it's a real battle going on, with the front 4 still pretty much holding their own, and the chasing pack trying to really just try to close that gap. They have some work to do here.
I got some information during the break on the main pack, including Hennis and Andy Scarano of 706 have broken away from the main pack, which I imagine will be the third group on the road, and they are chasing. And I'm told that we have about a minute between the first group of 4 on the road and the second chasing group, and then a further minute to Scarano and Hennis chasing on.
That's almost poetic though, Kainan, with the defending champion and the would-be champion racing together and maybe crossing the line together.
I think they don't want to be left out of the party today. Whether or not it's enough time for them to ride across this gap, I don't think so, but I hear they're going really well, and we will see. But everybody, the first 3 groups separated by about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Scarano and Hennis will be able to come back to join the second group, or even, well, maybe they could join up with the second group, but the first group of 4 that you're seeing on the left of your screen there, really holding their own as they head to Montego Bay.
And yeah, we see the AVR riders being very unfair to Chad Connolly. They're just refusing to ride on the front. They're making him do all the pulling.
Yeah, and it's funny if it's not you.
He seems to be willing to do it at the moment. We see Forrest, Ramsey on the rear, Forrest on the right of our screen.
And Bridges as well.
And Bridges in third wheel.
Oh, they finally give him a little bit of a reprieve.
Nice of them.
Yes, sweet.
They should know that they should have his ticket in a sprint. They should share the work with him to stay away. They wouldn't want to see the group behind come back to them, so it's in their interest to help Conley.
Exactly.
And to stay away from them. Because it's not all teammates and friends behind them. They may have to fight it out with 10 riders at the finish instead of 4, and it's always nicer to race for 4th than to race for 10th, or race for first from 4 people than to race for first from 10 people.
And in the back of his head, Conley, although he's doing the brunt of the work, he's dictating the pace, obviously, as we see that they're passing Greenwood. He's dictating the pace for any of his teammates to answer the call behind him.
Yes. It looks like Forrest has been willing to share the work with him, and I think that they're going to try and they'll give him some help coming home. And I'm not sure that Connolly would know that his teammate behind is riding across. And even if so, I don't see Scarano closing this gap, and if he does, I don't see him being able to sprint at the end, so I don't think Connolly would have any interest or any need to wait for him or to hold things up so that he can get across.
At least I don't think that he's going to be out sprinting Hennis, who is riding with it presently.
Certainly not. Or any of the other riders in the leading front, in the leading group.
So this is the first chasing pack. And this is those in the lead, led by Conley out of Georgia, the USA.
Looks like we're approaching Iberostar again. Now this is the last, it appears to be the little drag up to the Iberostar, and then it will be a very fast running after that. I think I may owe you lunch next year, Donald.
Yeah.
Or
when?
next, or
Next year.
at next year's staging, I'll bring it.
Wow. It must be really expensive to wait a whole year.
Lunch this week on me, Donald.
Yes, I eat Chinese or Indian, so I'll tell you the specifics of it later.
Deal.
No problem. They are going to be going over 2 hours. But it is still a wonderful day. A little bit on the warm side, to say the least, as we take a look at the chasing pack here.
And they appear to be not far behind. It looks like they're just now entered that drag up to Iberostar. So we should be able to see the group in front of them before long, if our estimate of where they are is correct.
Yeah, just taking a quick glance behind James Bridges.
Conley's still taking the lion's share of the breeze and doing the majority of the work to keep this group going. Forrest seems to be the only member of AVR willing to take the trade turns with Connolly. I don't know if that's by design or, but we've seen Forrest and Connolly doing all of the pulling of this 4-man breakaway. And there's the Iberostar Hotel in front of us.
Yeah, I hear it's a wonderful resort.
I've heard good things as well. I haven't been there yet, but maybe between now and next staging of this event, we can come back and give you a report on how that hotel is.
And preferably not in the aftermath of just a day pass.
We're told that Hennis and Scarano are about 1 minute behind the second group on the road, and the main group with all of the remaining riders, including Akil Campbell, is about 2 minutes and 20 seconds behind.
Ooh, that's a long stretch.
It sure is. And appears we have 4 riders bridging across to the second group, I'm guessing, on the road. So we have the second group on the road swelling. Not seeing that Hennis and Scarano are in that number, but we can assume that they're not too far behind that.
But this is the leading pack. Well,
and they will be joined. It appears that we have...
that's Brighton John, is it?
No, that's not Brighton John. That's...
number 71, yeah. It is number 71, Brighton John.
Oh, he's done. I thought that was his partner, Nathaniel. Okay, so now we have a group of
4.
8 riders.
Joining up with the 4, yep.
And that appears to be Bradley McFarlane, number 46. Of the 706 team with them. He's still a junior, or I think he's about 16 or 17. He's doing a very good ride here today, if that's him. I'm going to confirm that number.
Yeah, you're right, it is number 46, Bradley McFarlane. And he's right behind Andrew Ramsey, who is right behind James Bridges, who is right behind... Is that Akil Campbell? That is number 80, Akil Campbell. Well. Things have just got a little bit more interesting.
Very
with
exciting.
Campbell in this leading pack.
Oh, if Campbell wins the sprint today and Hennis is not there, it could be Campbell's race overall.
Yes. Well. What a turn up of the books this could be.
We lost camera contact with the back group for a while, so we got surprised by some of who was in that group and not in that group and come across. It's a real surprise to us that Campbell has made it across. So we imagine that is why Hennis is chasing. He'll want to get himself back across to this group to at least duke it out with his teammate for the top step on the podium. But for sure it looks like one of them, Campbell or Hennis, will take the general classification prize for this race.
Just to remind you that if you win a stage you get 23 points, and right now Hassani Hennis is on 50 points overall. Akil Campbell is in second overall on 33 points. Now that's a difference of 17 points. It is a possibility, based on what we're seeing, that Akil Campbell could actually win this third stage while Hassani Hennis failed to pick up a point.
That's correct, and that would mean that Hennis would end on the top step of the podium, despite Hennis winning 2 stages.
Well. Things got even a little bit more interesting here. So Akil Campbell very much in striking distance to win the gold on this stage and the gold overall.
We have to bear in mind he burnt a good few matches in crossing that gap.
Yeah, to catch up.
So we're not sure how strong his legs are going to be with coming into the finale. But all of these riders, Donald, will be pretty tired coming into the sprint.
Good thing is that he has his team to work with him. A number of his teammates from AVR Racing is in the leading pack that can work with him and nullify any quote-unquote attacks, which we haven't seen in a while, to be fair.
They're going to want to make sure that they lead him out and try and help him take the sprint. I think he will have to win this stage today, Donald, by our math, to win the overall.
Yes.
Well, second place won't do it for him, yeah?
Yeah. There is an interesting proposition that he could actually finish second, pick up 17 points, and go level with Hassani Hennis, who may be unable to pick up at least a point.
What do we do there? Flip a coin?
Maybe.
I think it may go to Hassani Hennis if it comes to that, being
based
that
on the
he's
fact he won 2 stages.
We don't know how the rules are written and how they resolve those disputes of ties on points. It would just be nice for them to share the top step of the podium as well and have a joint first place.
He did well.
That would be justice for all. And being that they're both on the same team, it could be a good outcome.
Probably the perfect script. Who says the perfect script doesn't exist?
Sometimes we see it. We have 3 more riders joining this. Wonder if this could include Hennis and Scarano. 3 more riders making their way across. So we're going to have a bunch sprint of about 12 to 15 riders if they all come together.
I think it's remarkable that they were able to catch up with them.
Certainly.
Absolutely remarkable.
Shows that we have a field of some very good legs in this year's staging. Hopefully we see a couple more teams added for next year, and would be very, very, very exciting to see this race swell to about 100 riders next year.
I don't think Scarano and Hennis are in the third group that joined. I think these were the splinters left behind from the second pack.
It appears that way. We would notice Hennis's jersey with the bright yellow and the red shoulders, and it doesn't appear to be him.
Yeah. So no Hennis and no Scarano, who just made up the field. Still further back, both of them, the defending champion and the would-be champion of this Jamaica International Cycling Classic. They're on their way towards the Half Moon Golf Course. They'll be passing it in short order, the riders.
We have Amit Raj of Team 8 on the back there. He made it back across after being distanced on the run on Spring Hill into Duncan's. So a good portion of that group that got that front group that got splintered on as we got into Duncan's back together, and a couple members of the group even further back, Brighton John and Akil Campbell, coming from the main pack, which was about 2 minutes behind this group, coming into Duncan's, making their way across. So we have looks like it might be the final selection of the day. It's unlikely that we'll see any additions. We don't know where Hennis and Scorano are. Possibly they make it across, but I think they may be a little too far back to make this juncture. We're pretty close to the finish as we speak, so they're going to have to really be very close behind this group, or they're probably not going to get on.
Still trying to identify the majority of this group here.
Trying to read the number of this Cornwall rider. It appears to be 20 something, but because of the breeze we're not being able to tell who it is. It could be Russell Small.
Maybe.
Could be, looks like him, but he had knee problems overnight and wasn't sure he would take the start. So it's refreshing to see him in the field if it is him, and it does look like his stature, a very small frame, small by name and small by frame. He's a two-time national champion of Jamaica, back-to-back, about 4 years ago. So a very capable rider, and also came third on the last day, this stage last year in this race. So if it is Small, a very good ride for him. I'm glad he's in the race after being injured yesterday. And there's Bradley McFarlane, seems to have gone down again, and a nasty little cherry on his thigh there. He also went down on stage 1. We saw him coming to the finish with his handlebars all twisted. This is him again. Unfortunate to see that, but he looks okay. He's going to have a hard time sleeping for the next two days with that.
His relationship with the road is sketchy at best.
He has gone down a few times too many, but he is young, and maybe he's just losing focus a bit too often because of his age. We're pretty sure he'll mature into handling his bike a bit better and being more focused on the road. But he does appear okay. He's just going to have a rough time sleeping with those sores sticking to the bed sheets.
So they're pretty close to the finishing line here, and they're all in a bunch, and we expect a sprint to begin in short order. We see the likes of Brighton John. We're still trying to identify a couple of the riders there with him. So we're taking a look at them from this angle for the final time. We're trying to decipher again who is at front. And is that Ramsey up top, or Forrest?
I'm being told that the Cornwall rider is indeed not Russell Small, as we were guessing. We can't read the number very well. Russell Small has abandoned the race due to a knee injury. The Cornwall rider is Kevon Price. And I'm also being updated that Bradley McFarlane, who we saw on the turf a while ago, is no longer a junior. He turned 18 this year, so he now rides as an elite.
joining us as they're entering into the home straight here. And the group of riders very close together. And this could be a most interesting ending, not only for stage 3 as they enter back into Witter Village, but for the overall championship here. Akil Campbell out of Trinidad and Tobago is in that bunch, and I believe that he's leading at the moment as he's heading towards the line. You remember that he's in second place overall, and we have been unable to capture where exactly Hassani Ennis is, but it's Akil Campbell who comes across the line in first position of stage 3, and it's now a question of where Hassani Ennis will finish on this third stage and overall at the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. But Akil Campbell did all that he needed to have done in winning this third stage to be level on points as it stands right now in the overall championship.
And it also looks like a 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the AVR team. We're going to confirm for you who's in second, third and fourth on that, but a really fantastic result, and I believe that we're going to have Hennis and Campbell tied on points.
Yep. The question is, has Hassani Dennis finished out of the top 10 in this one, where he would have been unable to pick up a point? If that is the case, that means that both Hennis and Campbell will be tied on points overall.
Joint first place. Where we can confirm that Hennis is going to finish behind the points today. What we're going to confirm for you in short order is second, third and fourth place. We know that there was an AVR 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we know that for sure. But whether Hennis is out of the top 10, we will confirm. But as it stands, it's tied on the leaderboard on points between Hennis and Campbell from AVR Racing. We take another break here, and we'll be back with so much more after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to our coverage of the Jamaica International Cycling Classic, and we're going to be putting a wrap on proceedings now. There was some deliberation going on as to the final results here, and we can confirm in fact that Akil Campbell did win the third stage and picked up maximum points for his efforts, and he finished ahead of Jerome Forrest, is his teammate out of AVR Racing.
And third place went to Andrew Ramsey, also of the AVR team, and fourth place went to Bridges of Cornwall Cycling Club.
Yeah, James Bridges finishing in fourth spot there. As we take a look at the closing stages of this one, it was a fine sprint, and we knew that it was going to be competitive. And Akil Campbell out of Trinidad and Tobago came out on top in the end. It was a fine spread in the end, and he crossed the line comfortably, did Akil Campbell. But what it did do though, and we have to make a correction here, because we got from the organizers that he entered today's final day on 33 points. In fact, he entered today's final stage on 25 points, which meant that this third stage would have been of academic interest, because although he got maximum points here for winning the third stage, he ended up finishing behind the stage 1 and 2 winner Hassani Hennis out of Anguilla, which means that Hennis would end up on top by a couple of points. They're from the same team, as we just confirmed the results of stage 3, and then the overall winner Hassani Hennis on 50 points. He didn't add to the 50 points that he had at the end of stage 2. Akil Campbell with maximum points in stage 3 could only go as far as 48 points there, so it looked close in the end, but really it was a case of academic interest.
Yep, sorry, it would have been more dramatic the other way, but still a very good race, and that's still a 1-2 for Team AVR. They have a lot to be proud of for everything they've done today. 1, 2, 3, 4 finish on the line, and winning all of the 3 stages of the race and the overall classification, first and second. So they basically dominated the entire proceedings here and have a lot to be proud of.
Well, let's now hear from Hassani Hennis out of AVR Racing and Anguilla, the overall winner of the Jamaica Cycling Classic.
Well, today was a very pleasant day, which is going into this race. I know I had a good margin, good lead, so no matter what happened today, I know I would win. But the goal today was to get the team, well, at least first top 3 prizes, which is we did very well. We got all preems again. So yeah, today I'm very satisfied with the teamwork. And yeah, today I just sat back and enjoyed the ride.
Right. How satisfying is it for you to wrap up this championship?
Man, well, this is my first GC win. I mean, I've been in a GC already in my career, but this is the first yellow jersey GC win for me, and I'm very satisfied with my performance and the team performance.
Yep, so a wonderful win for Hassani Hennis, and well, he did wonderfully well in the end at coming out on top. Of course, he made a big name in Belize, where he actually traveled over 260 odd kilometers to come out on top in that road race, and he came here with a lot of baggage and a lot of confidence as well.
Yep, a fantastic display by him, and today he really had to do nothing but just finish the race. His overall lead was never in threat. He was going to win today. All he had to do was cross the line upright, and he did. Fantastic 3 days of racing, Donald. Really fantastic to have brought this and to have witnessed this. And we look forward to another staging next year with an even bigger, more competitive field.
Well, we saw the sights and sounds, and we saw a couple of spills as well as the thrills. And at the end of the day, the story of the Jamaica International Cycling Classic ended with an Anguillan coming out on top, Hassani Hennis, and we expect better to come for the next staging. There has been improvement. The quality of the riders definitely of the highest draw, really, and in the end it came down to another quick sprint. All three stages were absolutely fabulous, and it was a pleasure bringing it to you on the home of champions on behalf of the hard-working production team and my co-commentator, Kynan Cook, who owes me lunch. And we were looking forward to doing that and bringing this coverage to you yet again in the near future, Kynan.
It was a pleasure. And we'll talk about lunch this week, and we look forward to seeing you all next year for the third staging of the Jamaica Invitational Cycling Classic.